remember the first time that I looked up and saw the other half. I saw Asmodee up in the sky, and I was just like, wow. I mean, that's the other side. That's where the other players are, and it's a really cool feeling. I am Lanny, also known as Liv. My main character is Liv, and that is actually the same name I go by in the community, and she is a sorcerer. I am many people in game. I really try to play as many characters and classes as I can, just because I get asked so many questions every day about all of them. One of the first things I say, when I meet people and they ask what is Aion, is I explain what the word means. So Aion is the name of the god. He created the world of Atreia, everything inside the world, and all of the resources used to keep the world running.
Aion is an extremely cool fictional world that's been torn in half.
We create this rich, unique, ethereal world where we have these two races struggling against each other, and a third evil faction as well.
You need something in an MMO to tie you down. If it's not your friends, if it's not a guild or a legion, it has to be the story in the game. That's what's really cool about Aion, is there's a really rich lore.
The game is really polished. When you look at the environments, you look at the ambient creatures, and you even look at some of the ambient animations, it just brings you into the world. It really makes you feel like you're a part of Atreia.
Atreia is the world. Atreia is the planet. So the sphere inside which everyone lives. And the Tower of Eternity was sort of like the sun. It was the place from whence all energy and life was bound to flow.
If you kind of think of an apple, like an apple core, that's kind of what it is. Like the Tower of Eternity runs right through the center.
When you look up in Aion, you see both the stump of the Tower of Eternity, as well as in the distance what might look like stars, but is actually the other half of Atreia.
So we have the upper half of Atreia, which is Asmodee, and the lower half, which is Elysia. The Elios have stayed almost true to how they looked 1,000 years ago. They have rich beaches and lush green environment. The Asmodeans, they really had to struggle to survive. And what I think is really cool, their eyes glow red when they're about to engage in combat. The major story point, the thing that drives the player to move forward, and kind of the overlying arc of the main story would be the destruction of the Tower of Eternity. I think that's really why we're here.
What happened was the god Aion created this race, and this race, rose to power and became known as the Balor. And this Balor started to terrorize all the humans on, all parts of the world. And this obviously, didn't go well for either side. There was lots of bloodshed and war and fighting.
And that battle occurred, and the tower was shattered. Thousands of years went by where they had no idea that the other side had survived, and they started to evolve differently. That's when they rediscovered each other in the abyss. That is in the center of the planet, and that is home to the Valor, and they are AI-controlled faction. We have the three factions, the Asmodeans, the Elios, and the Valor, all together in the abyss, fighting for eternal power.
What Aion does really well is it gives you a sense of purpose, and it makes you feel like you do have an impact in this world of Atreia.
When the player begins playing, there's a sort of a mystery about where they came from and what their destiny might be. And it doesn't take long before they realize that they are destined to ascend and become a deva and fight in this sort of holy war.
You actually go through a process called ascension. And ascension is this awakening inside of you that happens through a life-altering event. The best part of this is that you actually earn your wings and the ability to fly.
You learn you're immortal and you get wings. It doesn't get much better than that.
We have this element of flight in the game.
Flight, it's added an entirely new dynamic to battle. There's a lot of strategy that's involved with flight.
A new way of getting around in the world that MMOs haven't been able to do to this point.
The feeling of being in the air and flight is, pretty much unmatched in any MMO out there.
You do start off with a basic set of wings, and they're white on the Elios side and black on the Asmodean side.
And that's something that you get to evolve and customize and build upon through the development of your character, is adding longer flight ability, adding enhancements to your wings so that you can fly longer.
You'll actually see people kind of go into this, do I want to be aerial heavy or do I want to be kind of a ground trooper? People are going to have to manage their stats based around that. You're not going to be able to have everything. And this will create a diversity in, throughout classes, throughout stats, and just more customization in the world of Aion.
It actually leaks into your real life. I went hiking this weekend and I was standing on the top of Mount Si and I was looking over the Seattle horizon and I was like, man, if I had wings, this would be so cool. I could just like fly down. And I think that you have that same feeling in game where you just, jump off a cliff and hit spacebar. In Aion, you can really be anything. There are really so many cool options for tweaking your look, your play style, and your stats. Everything from combat to customization is and can be personalized. It's the most connected I've ever felt to any MMO.
It's pretty fast-paced in terms of combat. We've got lots of chain skills and combo moves that really puts the user into this visceral combat that isn't really normal with MMOs. You'll hit one spell and then it'll go to the next one and it'll pop up right there in the center picture. You'll also have all these reactive skills based off of if the enemy gets knocked down. If you block something, then you can shield bash them back.
We really tried to redefine a new type of gameplay in MMOs. We have PvPvE, which is player versus environment. So it's kind of like everything married into one experience.
And it's a continuum that really you are not strictly PvPing in an arena, and nor are you strictly PvEing in a dungeon.
We give players the choice of PvP and PvE so that they're not put down this same path of once they choose PvE or PvP, they have to stay with it. It's this melding. I'm actually getting killed by a boar here, so hold on.
When you first go in, you of course pick the faction you're gonna fight for, and then the next thing you do is pick which class you're going to play.
And these 4 classes are the warrior, the priest, the scout, and the mage.
From there, you can kind of specialize once you get to level 10 and you earn your wings and become a Deva.
They'll also have the ability to choose between 2 more classes at that point. If you're a warrior, you'll be able to choose between a gladiator or a Templar. Gladiator will be a little bit more offensive. It'll kind of be the master of arms.
I've always been a melee kind of person in the MMOs I play, so I really like the gladiator class because you can use 2-handed weapons, one-handed with a shield, 2 one-handed weapons.
Templars basically hold the front line. So at their core, they are the tank of the group, and they do that while shouting chants to protect and heal their allies.
Scout can become either a ranger or an assassin.
If you hear the word assassin, think ninja. So stealth, they use poison-tipped daggers, and they're all about speed, stealth, and awareness. Rangers tend to work alone or in a specialized group, and they will really be the ones that are going to cover their tanks that are moving forward. They not only have the ability to shoot you from afar, but you may never ever get the chance to get close enough to even get one hit in.
From the priest, you've got a chanter or a cleric.
The cleric is incredibly diverse when it comes to healing and inflicting damage on their opponents. Most importantly, they can bring people back from the dead.
The chanter is going to be a little bit different. They're actually going to have these mantras that they keep up to keep the group buffed and their stats all jacked up. The mage will choose between a sorcerer or a spirit master. You're going to have the sorcerer, which is direct damage, area effect spells, just lots of damage instantly.
I like feeling like I'm doing a lot of damage, so I think one of my favorite characters is a sorcerer. That's why I've always enjoyed those.
The spirit master will actually be able to conjure up a different spirit, fire, water, earth. So it'll be 8 total classes.
They do fill those typical roles, but there are also ways that you can change that a little bit so that you can have a unique cleric or a unique warrior that's not necessarily the same warrior that everybody else has.
one of the coolest aspects is just the ability to put your armor together in ways you want to put it together, both statistically and visually. We have a system that allows you to change your item with one stats to look like another item. As long as you own both, you can kind of mesh them, take the best of both, the looks and the stats.
You're going to be able to create a really unique persona in the game with mana stones, with color dyes, and with the stigma system.
You will rarely ever find anyone that looks exactly like you in the world. That's something that the development team took really seriously, was customizing your character and customizing your gameplay. Basically, there's 22 default faces that you choose from. I know of some people who have made characters look almost exactly like themselves or a celebrity that they want to look like.
It really is endless combination. If you run past anyone that looks like you, then you just went with the default options because there's no other way.
Aion was originally designed and developed in Seoul, Korea. That's where the NCSoft headquarters is. The developers really took two approaches to it, two different angles. On the one hand, they wanted to take what was already successful in other MMOs, refine those details, and then on the other hand, they wanted to bring something new to the genre. And in doing so, they gave birth to Aion. From what we've seen, it has basically shattered every record in Korea. It's been received really, really well, and the fans love this game. And so we're really excited to bring it over and introduce it to the West Territory. We really think that the players are going to love it.
It's more of a polished game that people will enjoy in a beautiful setting that you want to actually live in.
It's been live in Korea for almost a year now. By the time that it launches in the West, and the West market will really benefit from that because it's had a year of balancing and updates that will be implemented.
From the beginning, Aion was designed for a global audience. Aion adopted a global mindset not only in gameplay but also in other components of the game, such as its visuals, which were designed to embrace both East and West.
It has a lot of those cool things in MMOs that bring players in and keep them there, but it adds all these new things too that we've never seen before.
My favorite feature of Aion is gliding. When playing an MMORPG, players inevitably spend a long time traveling around the world. Gliding gives characters a different movement option and another perspective to view the world. Flying also adds strategic components to PvP that I really like.
If you are the #1 ranked player in the Abyss, you have the ability to turn into a huge raid boss. And you're not actually a raid boss, but you will look like one. Your wings are huge, you're gigantic, and you can do a lot of damage and take a lot of damage.
In order to make Aion a global game, we took out a lot of elements that were characteristics of Asian games. For example, Asian gamers usually prefer more cute and handsome characters.
Asian heroes would never have bulky looking heroes and swinging this axis. But a lot of those barriers are now starting to break down.
Korean games have been known as games that are grinders, that don't have that much story or quest. But Aion has implemented so many stories, so many quests, and so many storytelling strategies that it makes you just part of the game.
This world is very much alive, and it reacts to the things that players do in game. For example, if you are in the Abyss and you are attacking a fortress, then that may or may not trigger the Valor to come in, the AI-controlled faction.
The Balur are more likely to attack the race that has more power. It's meant to create balance between the two opposing factions.
So we have big event changes like that, and we also have smaller ones.
The world will be gradually enlarged. Later on, it will expand to a region farther from the Tower of Eternity. We'll have space within the Abyss that will be sort of a fourth dimension. There's constant debate and constant discussion about how the game should change and how it should develop. When Aion launches in North America and Europe, we plan to include features that are only available on the test server in South Korea.
Koreans actually love MMORPGs. I think they wouldn't be able to survive without MMORPGs. It's the challenge that's the fun part. It's not just leveling up, it's not just PvP, it's everything all together. And the game, even until you get the maximum level, there are so many things to do. It's a very challenging and very extremely fun game. Game has already become a culture in South Korea. It's already part of the life. Gamers don't play just games to have fun. They play games to meet the communities, to meet people, have fun, to meet new friends, and then to play together, to enjoy together.
I'm Lanny Blazier, Associate Producer for Aion, and I'm here in Seoul, Korea at the NCSoft headquarters. It's really reassuring for our fans in the West to see how excited the communities are. When we went around and asked players at the local PC cafes, their responses were, we love this game because of the story, because of flight. The communities in Asia are embracing this game and they're having a lot of fun with it.
So,
Yeah.
how long have you been playing Aion?
I have played Aion from the open beta test. My favorite class, Gladiator.
What do you think that it is that makes it so successful?
Before Aion, there is a lot of MMORPG in Korea, but only in Aion I can fight on the sky.
듣기 별로 재밌는 얘기는 아니지만 이제
One of the most overwhelming and emotional moments I had during the game's development was when we opened Aion to players at a PC cafe in the form of a friends and family test. We finally got to watch people playing and enjoying the game after many years in development.
We have been getting a lot of questions from the community over the past few weeks that they wanted us to bring here to ask to the development team, so we figured why not? There's been a lot of curiosity in the forums about how Abyss points work. How do I gain them and how do I lose them? What do I do with them? The more you play in the Abyss, the more you engage in PvE, you will start to accumulate these Abyss points. And you can do two things with them. One, you can let them pool up and that will increase your rank in the Abyss, or you can choose to spend them on Abyss items, armor, stuff that is Abyss specific.
굉장히 많은 아이템.
Players seem to like weapons that change their looks when they are drawn or have special effects when used in a fight. Players are having a lot of fun with a sword that extends to attack an enemy at long range. In the case of item stats, since Aion is a game with opposed factions, players love Abyss items that enhance PvP-related attributes.
One of the most frequently asked questions that we've received is, will there be instances in-game? And the answer to that is yes.
이번에 저희가 이제 한국에서 이미
As Aion evolves through further expansions and updates, we are going to add many new dungeon instances. In fact, version 1.5 of the game already contains many new dungeons. For example, we recently added a very large flying ship instance with 3 to 4 hours of gameplay and a new storyline. We are planning to theme upcoming instances with environmental graphics that are different from the existing Aion world, or zones, in both substance and flavor.
Another question from our community forums was, will players have mounts?
개인적으로 이제
My favorite feature of Aion is gliding. When playing an MMORPG, players inevitably spend a long time traveling around the world. Gliding gives characters a different movement option and another perspective from which to view the scenery, while adding enjoyment to the aspect of overland travel. It also adds strategic components to PvP that I really like.
Currently, we didn't feel the need to implement a mount in-game, but never say never, might happen.
하우징은 이제 들어갈 예정.
We have discussed adding a character housing system. This system would let players fulfill their desire to own property, decorate, and design houses, enhancing the role-playing aspect of the game.
Why do Asmodeans have that mane on their back and their neck? Such a funny question.
그 권한은 저한테 있고요.
Yes, I was responsible for that. We put that into enhanced diversity and differentiation between the two races.
It's a process of evolution. At the time of the epic cataclysm, the Asmodei had no sunlight, and the Asmodeans really had to evolve to adapt to this environment. So they have certain features that you're not going to find on the Elios. They're all there for a reason. I'm presuming it's to keep them warm because it's always snowing in Asmodei. That's probably why. Our beta community has been extremely curious about crafting. They want to know, can I become an expert at more than one profession? Basically, right now in game, you can pick one that you become an expert at, and you can level all the other ones up to a certain point. For our 1.5 update, we're actually going to be implementing another expert slot. So your character will be able to become an expert at 2 professions. So all you crafters out there will be able to pick more than one profession to become an expert and create some very unique and cool items for your legion.
I like Aion, and a lot of my friends like Aion, not because we are Korean, so maybe American people and Western people like Aion because it's fun. Yeah, yeah. That's just it's fun. Yeah.